going to show you how to put together this sweet little Hey Pumpkin card. I really love it with the owls, and this little door actually opens and closes, which is super cute. So it's a really simple and easy card to put together, so I know that you can do it and follow along step by step in this video. A little bit about the product. So in my Etsy shop, I have these card kits that are available. I just have a limited number of them, so make sure to grab them if you like it. They're really great to do with your friends and family. Let's open it up. All right, so first of all, every kit that I have has printed instructions that show you how to put the card together. It has an image of what your card can look like. It has a list of the featured product that I use from Art Impressions. It also has other supplies that you'll need to recreate this card from scratch. And then it also has step-by-step instructions if you were to make this card from scratch as well. So really great instructions to have on hand and reference. This video is all you'll need today to put your card together from your kit. So you'll see here I have a brown card base. I have this panel of patterned paper. You can use either side. I'm going to use the really cute orange plaid here. I also have this die cut with the sentiment already stamped for you. There's also this bit of wood grain pattern paper that will go up on the top. There's also the featured image here. This is the pumpkin cubbies. It has little windows and doors that actually open up, which is really fun. And I stamped this on watercolor paper, so we can use a watercolor technique. If there's any little negative pieces in here, you can just pop those out at any time. There's also going to be 3 little owls that go with it. Really sweet little owls. I love the little details. And there's also a bit of twine here. So the other supplies that you'll need to put this together is a little bit of ink, which I use for the ink splatters on this flag shape. Totally optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. You might also want to have some enamel dots like this that will help kind of give a little extra bling to your project. So that's optional that you might have at home that you want to add. You're also going to need some foam tape. You can see that I've popped up this image on foam, so that way there's a little bit of dimension and it's just really cute, but still pretty flat for mailing as well. You're gonna also want, in addition to your foam tape, some kind of adhesive. You could use liquid glue or your tape runner, whatever you like. You'll also want some scissors to do some trimming over here. And then of course you're gonna need something to color with. I'm gonna use some watercolor pens, but you can use any kind of method you want. I did stamp this on some watercolor paper, so keep that in mind. It might not work so great with alcohol markers because I know it absorbs the ink a lot, so it would use a lot of ink for your Copic markers or things like that, but totally up to you. You could use all sorts of things like just regular pencils, colored pencils, other inks you have. If you have a bunch of ink pads, you could use this as watercolor as well. A lot of fun coloring options for you. All right, let's go ahead and get started on this card. The first thing we're going to do for this card is to fold the card base in half. There's a scored line that you can follow to fold it. And you can also use a bone folder if you have it handy to just smooth out the crease really nicely. Normally the next thing you would do is put down your plaid paper, but actually how I've designed this card is that I tie the twine all the way around this panel and then glue it down onto my card base. So we're going to hold off on that really quick. We're going to do a couple things first. Let's go ahead and take this wood panel and glue it towards the top of this plaid paper. I've purposefully made this a little bit longer to overhang. That way you can trim it and have it be a perfect fit. So just go ahead and trim along the edges here. What we would do next is go ahead and glue down this flag piece. That's if you don't want to do any of the ink splatters here. So if you'd rather have a clean look, you can go ahead and skip that and just leave it as is white. But we're going to have some fun and get a little inky here with some of this ink splatters here. So to do that, we're going to have a couple things we need. To do paint splatters, I like to get out a palette. So I have this plastic palette here. I'm going to pick out some ink. I'm going to use the Distress Oxide Peacock Feathers color. And I'm just going to go ahead and dab a little amount onto my palette here from an ink pad. Next, we're going to water it down. I have a spray bottle. All right, so then we have our flag, and I also have a small paintbrush. So let me go ahead and get some water in my paintbrush, and then I'm going to lightly tap my finger onto the brush so it splatters onto the paper below. Now, the more water that you add, the less concentrated the color will be. So if it's not as dark as you want it to be, you could always just start over and add less water next time. But you want it to be watery enough so it does actually flick. I think that's enough for now. And then you just got to let it dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and tie my twine around the panel of the card. So first I'm going to double up my thread, just like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie it all around the top of this panel. And I'm going to have the knot be towards the right. And instead of a bow or anything, I'm just going to tie a very simple knot. Next, I'm going to go ahead and trim off the edges a little bit. And now this panel is ready to be glued onto my card base. Awesome. So this is still drying, so I'm going to wait before I glue it, but it's going to go right here, and I might even tuck it just a little bit underneath the twine. Let that show. So let me set that aside, and then we will start coloring this. So you'll see that the stamped images that you have that are already die cut for you include this house, and this house is much taller than the one that we're going to use. So what we're actually going to do is go ahead and trim around this pumpkin, and we're just going to use that as a feature. And I'm going to not include the little light post because that's connected to that second pumpkin, but I am going to cut out the tree. So you can see here which pieces that I've selected to stay. So go ahead and trim that out. Now that they're trimmed apart, don't worry if the top of this chunk looks a little awkward, because we're actually going to put an owl on top and cover that up. So you can see how I've cut out just this one pumpkin, and now you have this extra bonus piece that you could use on another card. Maybe you just want to trim it so it's just that top half, and it would be really cute. And just you could even put it on the inside of this card if you want. Color that up and glue it in. So your piece to do whatever you want with. Next, we're going to go ahead and color up the owls and the pumpkins. For coloring, I'm going to use some watercolor markers. These are called the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. I really like them because they're easy to blend. I like simple coloring. I like to be quick with my coloring. Some people really love to take their time. So if that's you, that's great. But I'm just picked out a few simple colors here. I'm going to pick out an orange and a yellow to go with the pumpkin. I'm going to pick out these two greens to blend together for the green pieces. I have some browns for the tree and the door and the stem, and some different browns for the owl. You can pick out whatever colors you like, but we're just going to go ahead and color. And I'm going to speed up this video, and you can just enjoy coloring along with me. I finished coloring up my cute little cubby, and of course it turns out a little different every time I color. I picked some different colors this time to experiment, so just have fun coloring and enjoy that process. Let's go ahead and keep assembling the card. So this is dry now, so let me go ahead and glue on the flag onto the card base here. Next, I'm going to go ahead and think about how I want to place my pieces here. I think I'm going to have this guy going into the house. So I'm just going to glue him flat really quick onto this pumpkin. Put a little bit of adhesive behind his head. And that door opens and closes. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy through the window. But you could easily put him somewhere else if you want. But let me go ahead and glue that down really quick. And then one more, I'm going to go ahead and put this one, oops, he popped out. All right, we're going to go ahead and put this one right on top here. Just like this. Now to pop this up, I'm going to position it towards the left a little bit and just offset that knot and have a little visual interest onto the left. And I'm just going to add some foam squares using double-sided foam adhesive squares and just kind of sprinkle it throughout the back of this piece. Now that I've covered this back with some squares, make sure that you don't put any squares on the door because you want the door to open and close. So be sure to avoid that area, but other than that, I have a good amount of squares kind of sprinkled throughout. Maybe one more here. Now I just have to take off all the release paper and attach it. All right, finally have all my adhesive revealed, and I'm gonna go ahead and set this down exactly where I want it to be and press it. For the final touches, I like to put a couple enamel dots, and I have a good collection here, so let's pick out some that will correspond nicely. Have the same ones, so I'll go ahead and just kind of copy what I've done before. I like to use 3 because it's an odd number and it just looks better in art to use odd numbers. And that's how I've placed mine. And that's it. Your card is all done and ready for you to put in the mail, write a really nice message in, and send some fall greetings to your friends. So thanks for joining. Don't forget that you can find these kits on my Etsy shop. I'll have that linked, and it's just super cute, part of the series, so make sure you follow along and make all the cute cards. Thank you so much and have a great day.